Hello, everyone. Hi, Kimberly, Jim.
Morning.
See this guy?
Mr. Chair, I'm going to start the meeting now. I'm going to start the webinar.
That's very good. You want to start the recording before I do the introduction? So
Yeah, it would automatically.
very good. There it is. So it is 9 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the San Bernardino County Local Agency Formation Commission meeting for November 17th, 2021. And I'd like to read these statements before we proceed. The meeting will proceed as a virtual meeting pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E1 and A, which provides for waivers to certain Brown Act provisions during the proclaimed state of emergency when the state or local officials have imposed or recommended measures to promote social distancing. The agenda provides members of the public the ability to provide comment when participating via Zoom conference, or Zoom via phone, either by clicking the raised hand button from the Zoom browser or Zoom app, or for those on Zoom via phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Comments and testimony will be limited to 3 minutes. Additionally, the agenda also informs members of the public that they may submit written comments by mail or email through the Commission's website public comment link no later than 7:30 a.m. on the day of the meeting. These comments and testimony will be read into the record at the appropriate time. At this time, we can now proceed. And Angela, I'd ask the clerk if you could please call the roll.
Angie?
We got Angie on the line.
Yeah. And Aquanetta.
Miss Angie?
Okay, well, I didn't hear it if you were calling the roll.
I don't think she can hear.
Steve is here.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Aquanetta.
Hey, this is Mike. I'll push this forward, Mr. Bagley.
Yeah, thank you. If you would, please call the roll and for the clerk.
Just one moment. All right, sorry about that. We're back on track. Mr. Baca, Commissioner Baca,
Baca present.
Commissioner Bagley,
I am here.
Commissioner Cox,
Present.
Commissioner Kuratalo,
Present.
Commissioner Dameyer,
Present. Good morning, everybody.
Commissioner Dennison,
Dennison here.
Commissioner Farrell,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Hagman. We'll go once again, Commissioner Hagman, Commissioner McCallan,
I'm here.
Commissioner Rao, Commissioner Rao, Commissioner Warren.
Present.
Thank you. Roll call is confirmed.
All right, thank you very much. If you would, just please mute yourself and I will do the Pledge of Allegiance for us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a meeting announcement. Anyone present at the hearing who's been involved with any of the changes of organization to be considered, who has made a contribution of more than $250 in the last 12 months to any member of the commission, will be asked to state for the record the commission member to whom the contribution has been made and the matter of consideration of which is involved. Do we have any declarations of contributions at this time?
None received.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. So, Sam, I'd like to move on to item number 1, the presentation of the resolution in appreciation of Pamela Miller for her service to Cal LAFCO as the executive director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This first item is our presentation for the resolution of appreciation to Pamela Miller, who is the Cal LAFCO executive director. Unfortunately, Pamela is stepping down at the end of the year. Pamela has been the executive director for Cal LAFCO for more than 8 years now. The year she started was also the year that I was assigned to the deputy EO position for Cal LAFCO, representing the southern region. So I've known her since then. I worked with her, alongside her through the years, and more recently in my capacity as a member of the Cal LAFCO Legislative Committee. Anyway, over a year ago, before the pandemic, she had announced that she was stepping down to concentrate full-time on her consulting practice. However, when the pandemic hit, she decided to stay on until the end of this year in order to provide some stability to Cal LAFCO during this uncertain time. So nonetheless, I just want to say that it has been a pleasure working with Pamela through the years. Her dedication to Cal LAFCO and her professionalism, working with the board and coordinating with the different LAFCOs throughout the state. And on top of that, having LAFCOs heard at the legislature is no small feat. So she has been an amazing executive director for Cal LAFCO. And with that, Mr. Chair, please do the honors. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Pamela, are you with us today?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I am.
Well, hi, Pamela. We're so glad to have you join us. We have a resolution that we will honor you with, but I personally want to thank you for the years that I have known you in your capacity as executive officer. Your leadership and professional guidance have really been exemplary, and I'm appreciative for all the things you do for us. California is not just a complex state geographically, but also politically, and we've certainly had some challenging times, and you've been really a stellar leader for us during that time. So I want to thank you. Any other commissioners?
It's
Thank
hard to top that, Mr. Chair, but I truly would like to express my gratitude to Pamela as well. I worked with you on a couple of things. I enjoyed the seminar that you held just this past week. That was very, very informative. I hope the new leadership of LAFCO keeps the forward thinking that you have had all these years in really leading us forward into areas that we hadn't ventured before. So thank you for everything you've done.
I raised my hand, Chairman.
Yeah,
I'd just
please.
like to thank Pamela for her great service. And many of you are aware, I'm on the Cal LAFCO board now. And I'm looking forward to working a few more weeks with her. She's been gracious and she's staying on board until we can find another executive director. And I thank her for that. And now I'm what is my title? Secretary to the board for Cal LAFCO. And so I'm so glad she's not leaving anytime soon so I can learn what I'm supposed to do. So thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this is Jim Curtello. Pamela, I'd just like to say I wish you all the best. We all wish you the best in your future. All the contributions you made to all 58 LAFCOs through the work you've done at Cal LAFCO has truly been great. We thank you for that and wish you the very best. And my dogs are even cheering you from the background here. So take care, Pamela.
So thank you, Pamela, once again for gracing us today. We hope to see you in your consultant capacity in the future. And we very much appreciate all that you've done for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may, it really has been my privilege and my honor to represent Cal LAFCO and, in fact, all of you over the course of the last 9+ years. I am not going away quite yet. As Commissioner Warren indicated, I will be staying on through a transition. So for the first couple months of next year, I want to just acknowledge the strong relationship and support that all of you, your commission as a whole, you as commissioners and your spectacular staff have given Cal LAFCO throughout the years, especially during the difficult and challenging times, which we have seen to see quite a few of, both internally, as Chair Bagley indicated, politically, it's not just inside our organization, but outside in Sacramento. So Cal LAFCO and I personally truly value that relationship and that collaboration. Commissioner Curatolo, it was really a pleasure to work with you when you were chair of the board. Just a wonderful human being, a great collaborator, and did a great job leading the organization. Commissioner Warren, I'm sorry that our tenure together with you on the board has been short and will be short. I plan to be around as an associate member, so I will be cheering you on in the background as you go through the seats and always be available for support. And of course, Sam, you have been an amazing partner, both as a DEO and all of your contributions on the legislative committee. And I'm proud to call you my friend. So again, this is just really has been my honor and my privilege. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to be a small contributor to this wonderful, great, large organization. And thank you so much for the honor. I'm truly touched.
Well, thank you, Pamela. We really hope to see you in the future. Sorry, we're not doing this in person. Zoom is sort of awkward, but it's very important that we acknowledge your contribution to us, and we appreciate you. So thank you. Before we move on to the next item, I'd like to go through the procedures of the commission. I have one more statement to make on this matter. The commission will consider how the commission will consider things during our meeting. First, I'll call on the staff to make a presentation for the next item on the agenda. Following the presentation, I will call on commissioners who may have a comment or question of staff. I will ask the commission clerk whether any members of the public have submitted written comments to the item, as well as anyone on the video conference or on the phone who wishes to make a comment. Each member of the public will be allowed 3 minutes. Then when we'll come back to the commission, see if there's any further discussion. The item, we will take an action on it. I will ask for a motion and a request from the commissioner making the motion to please identify yourselves because we are doing this via Zoom conference. And finally, we'll ask the commission clerk to call the roll. And before we move on to our consent calendar, we do have a resolution in favor of Pamela. Can I have a motion, please?
Over it, McCallum.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from the public? Any additional commissioner comments?
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, no comments from the public? So thank you. I will gratefully ask for a roll call vote on this resolution.
Thank you. Commissioner Baca,
Baca, aye.
Commissioner Bagley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Aye.
Commissioner Curatolo,
Aye.
Commissioner Hagman,
Hagman, aye.
Commissioner McCowan,
Absolutely.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Pamela, for coming to participate with us today. We will now move on to our consent items. The following consent items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They'll be enacted by the commission at one time without discussion unless there is a request to remove an item prior to the hearing to discuss the matter. Are there any consent items deferred for discussion?
Mr. Chair, there has been no request to pull any item on the list of consent items. However, I do want to make note of one error in the recommendations for item 7. Hannah, can you please go to there? Very good. As shown on the display, staff inadvertently did not switch out the city name on the recommendation number 3 in the staff report. It says outside the city of Chino's boundary instead of the city of San Bernardino's boundary. That is the only correction, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll ask the commission clerk, were there any written comments submitted on any of the consent calendar items?
None received?
Okay, I will now call on the public on Zoom who wishes to speak. Are there any hands up or requests to speak on the consent items? So Angela, you'll have to help me because I don't see all of them, but if you see them, please let me know, okay? At this time, I would entertain a motion on the consent calendar as amended. Do I have a motion?
Hagman moves.
Do I have a second?
1 second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Baca,
Baca, aye.
Commissioner Bagley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Aye.
Commissioner Curatolo,
Aye.
Commissioner Hagman,
Hagman, aye.
Commissioner McCowan,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll move on to item number 9 on our agenda. It's continue monitoring LAFCO 3231 countywide fire service for Barstow Fire Protection District in the city of Barstow. It's continued from the September 15th meeting of 2021. I ask the staff to give the presentation.
I'll have Mike, you there?
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, number 9 is the continuation as an outgrowth of the service review for the city of Barstow and the countywide fire service review that was conducted in 2020. During the past year and a half, the city of Barstow has had some turnover at the city manager position, assistant city manager position, as well as in its subsidiary fire district with its fire chief, as well as the assistant fire chief. So we've continued this update a few times because there's been a lack of continuity. And every time we started to get an update, there was having to reinvent the wheel. Well, now there's stability at the city. There is a city manager newly appointed, as well as a newly appointed fire chief. and assistant fire chief. We met with both sides about a week ago, and we all agree that we're going to request a continuance of the update. This will give the new leadership at the city and the fire district more time to prepare a proper update to this commission, and they would be a participant at the hearing for the commission. We are requesting a continuance to January 19, and as an attachment to number 9 is the letter from the city manager requesting this continuance, and staff agrees. Back to the commission for a recommendation.
Jim, you're muted.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have anyone from the city of Barstow or the fire department that wishes to speak on this item? Since this item is being continued, unless the commissioners have any questions of staff or comment at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to continue the item.
Move.
I'll second that.
All right. Are there any requests to speak from the public on this item? Seeing no request for requests, I will ask clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Baca,
Hawkeye.
Commissioner Bagley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Aye.
Commissioner Curatolo,
Aye.
Commissioner Hagman,
Hagman, aye.
Commissioner McCowan,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll continue under the discussion items. We're now on item number 10, the continued monitoring of Barstow Cemetery District related to LAFCO 3245 countywide service review for public cemetery districts. I'd ask the staff to please give the presentation.
Thank you, sir. So this is now growth of a different service review. This one is the public cemetery service review that took place at the beginning of this calendar year. The commission directed that continued monitoring take place for the Barstow Cemetery District. We have provided an update, 3 updates actually, on the district. This district, in a snapshot, faces severe governance and fiscal challenges. The most recent audit that was completed was for 17-18, which was just completed. And that audit shows severe internal controls, deficiencies in internal controls, excuse me. We have had discussions with the independent auditor for the district, and he states that the 18-19 audit is in draft form, so that's good, and that he anticipates that hopefully by the end of the year, the fiscal year, that the district will be caught up on its audits. But nonetheless, this is a monumental task for the district. They had an independent auditor who did so much bookkeeping work, who essentially became the bookkeeper, had to release its independence. They hired an independent auditor. There is a new assistant person at the office who is helping, but the hole is very deep, and we are going to recommend that we come back in March for an update. As outside of finances and governance, which are detailed more in the service review and in other updates, but I'll be glad to answer any questions from the commission, is the xeriscaping project that's going on at the cemetery grounds. So to bring the commission back to the service review, the wells were not usable, and the district had to pull potable water to water its grounds, which averages roughly between $10,000 and $20,000 a month, depending on the season. So for district under severe financial challenges, this is then the number one expense for the agency. So in coordination with Mojave Water Agency, a xeriscaping project is taking place. And the service review has an update, but after publication, Mojave Water Agency was able to provide us with an update on the project. So that's where it is right there. In bold, in red at the bottom is the most important part. MWA will manage the project with an expected completion date of late 2022 or early 2023. So this is great. There's excellent movement. However, what you do see here in all these names in this text is the name Mojave Water Agency, not the Barstow Cemetery District. So this is a project that is being led by MWA with support from the water retail agency. That would be the Golden State Water Company, with some help from the Barstow Cemetery District. So this is excellent community work, but I do want to preface that this is being done not by the district. So if the commission has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. And we recommend that the next update occur at the commission's March 16, 2022 meeting.
Thank you, Michael. Is there anyone from the Barstow Cemetery District who wishes to speak on this item? Commissioners, comments or suggestions?
Yes, I do see one.
Okay. Is there somebody from the Barstow?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Belinda.
Hi, I just wanted to confirm what Michael's been saying. We are on the fast pace to recovery. We have got our financial advisor and our auditors are working overtime to get us caught up. We've just got a lot of stuff going on right now, but we should see huge differences by the next hearing.
So Melinda, thank you very much for participating. Do any of the commissioners have comments or questions? Are there any requests to speak online or written comments?
None received.
All right, so we do have a recommendation to defer this item. Can I have a motion from the commission?
So moved from Cox.
Curatello.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion from the commission? I will ask clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Baca,
Hawk eye.
Commissioner Bagley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Aye.
Commissioner Curatello,
Aye.
Commissioner Hagman,
Hagman, aye.
Commissioner McAllen,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're under the discussion items. We'll now move on to item 11, initiation of a service review for the 29 Palms community. It's a request from the city of 29 Palms, and retaining special counsel for the review is also a part of it. I would ask the staff to please give the presentation.
Thank you, sir. So we're at item 11. Sam did mention to the commission in his executive officer report at the last hearing that we received this request. So this request has come through resolution from the city of 29 Palms, also comes with the required, the required fees and deposits to conduct the service review. So this is a full and accurate request. The city, by its unanimous vote, is requesting the commission to conduct a municipal service review of the services within the community. On page 2 of your report, but I'll just read it here for you. The agencies that would be reviewed are the city of 29 Palms as a full review, the 29 Palms Water District as a full review, 29 Palms Cemetery District as a full review, the County of San Bernardino Public, specifically its Public Works Department, which used to be known as the Special Districts Department, which absorbed it. So the County of San Bernardino Public Works Department as a discussion portion, no review, and San Bernardino County Fire Protection District as a discussion, but no review, since we've just completed a service review of that area. We would begin work in December, probably in about 2 weeks from now. And a rough timeline is to issue a working copy in early February, issue a draft service review for public comment and review around late February, publish the service review on late March, and then present the service review at the commission's April 20 meeting. So that's the service review portion. Now, with any service review, proposal, service contract, we review the legal conflicts associated with it. So our esteemed legal counsel, Paul D'Souza Mills, as we know, is a partner in the firm Best and Krieger, I'll just call it BB&K. Well, BB&K is also general counsel for the 29 Palms Water District. So
And
pursuant to the policy.
Yeah, Mike.
If I can just jump in real quick, I just want to let the
Yes.
commission know that I'm going to leave the meeting right now. I'm going to mute myself, and Sam will let me know when we're done with this agenda item, just in an abundance of caution.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Paula. And by the way, it's Paula D'Souza, not Paula D'Souza Mills anymore. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. So the executive officer and our legal counsel, Paula, reviewed the question of the potential for controversy and are of the opinion that controversy exists. We already know Paula left, so it seems as if controversy may be present. At the requester of this service review, I'm sorry, the city, being the requester of the service review, may see some of these items, as in the recommendations from our service review, as having a conflict. So we are all in agreement on this, both parties. However, with the dual use of the firm BB&K, they think that the optics of this service review warrants a legal conflict. So what do we do with this legal conflict? We then move to our retainer agency, which is Colantino High Smith and Watley. So we reached out to Miss Holly Watley of Colantino High Smith and Watley and identified that her firm does not represent any of the agencies that we've identified. That would be in table 2 of this staff report. And those are the ones that I mentioned a few minutes ago. So Hannah, if you can go to the slide for the recommendations, please. So the actions we would take would be to, 1, initiate the service review for the 29 Palms community, title italicized. Number 2, note that Ms. D'Souza Mills' disqualification from representation on the service review. Number 3, direct staff to retain the firm of Colantino High Smith and Watley special counsel for the service review. And number 4, authorize the executive officer to sign said agreement. That ends my presentation. Attachments to this staff report are the 29 Palms resolution. Number 2, the commission's policy on the waiver of conflict of interest. And number 3, the representation letter from Holly Watley. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
All right, is there anyone from the city of 29 Palms that would like to address this request for a service review? I know we have a number of people online. Some of them may want to speak public comment. Frank Lucchino, would you like to speak?
Yes, hi, Chairman Bagley. My name is Frank Lucchino. I'm the city manager in 29 Palms, and the city just wants to request this special service review for potential savings. That is, our intent of good government ways to save our residents money, but deliver more services. We just want to create this dialogue, and we believe that LAFCO is the means to create this dialogue, to review, to see if there is savings. This, however, is not about any operational shortfall. It's just a good government review.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lucchino. Anyway, we will give the other members of the public a chance to speak. Do we have any commissioners that would like to question the staff of the city?
I had a question, Mr. Chair.
Please, Kimberly.
For Michael, with us retaining special counsel on this, it's been a while since we've done that. Does LAFCO pick up that cost, or is it covered in the applicant's cost?
It is covered. It is covered in the applicant's cost. However, I'll note that if the charge from Holly Watley is above the charge for Paula D'Souza Mills, that LAFCO will eat that difference. So what the policy reads is that the applicant will be charged at the rate of LAFCO's general legal counsel. Should anything be higher, that would be eaten by LAFCO staff. But we don't anticipate that variance times the amount of hours to be significant to our budget.
Okay, usually there's, the attorneys have a fee schedule, what their cost is per hour. Is theirs similar to what we currently pay?
It is very similar.
Okay, and then do we have a set number of hours, or how, how do we go over what we would normally pay Paula?
The legal costs will be tracked against the deposit that the city of 29 Palms has provided. Should the deposits as a group go over the amount that they provided us, the city as the applicant is responsible for any overage. However, the work that at a minimum that Holly Watley would perform would be what Paula performs right now. That would be the review of the agenda item, review of its recommendations, and then attendance at the hearing.
Okay.
Being a service review, there is no entitlement in this action that the commission would take. It's not a change of organization, so those requirements would not be reviewed, so that they're thereby lessening the activity.
Okay, that makes sense. And who from CHW will be assigned to review this?
Holly Watley.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I had.
Any other commissioners wanting to question the staff or the city on this item? Sam, we have a number of people online attending publicly, and I would ask you if you can just briefly speak to the mandate that LAFCO has for doing municipal service reviews, and also talk about the last time one was done for 29 Palms and the time frame that we were anticipating for this one.
All right. So yes, under 56-430 LAFCO, the commission can in fact initiate the service review. We've done the service review for the community back in, I would say, 2012 as a community. And then on our second round service review, we did actually go on a countywide basis. So we did the service review for water first, which included the 29 Palms water district. We then moved forward with the service review for wastewater countywide, which also touched a bit on the 29 Palms area with the marine base. And then we then did the service review for fire, which we did over a year ago. In the meantime, between that, the year before, we also had the fire reorganization that annexed the entirety of the 29 Palms water district portion into the county fire protection district. So when we did the fire service review, that was a year ago. We touch again on the service provided through the area by county fire.
Very good. And Sam, I'd just like to tell the people who are on participating with us here too, if they're not familiar with our website, all the municipal service reviews are available for public review. You just go click on them. You can see when they were last done. There's a lot of insight into the history of the communities and the complexities of the services that they provide. Every community is unique. 29 Palms certainly has some complex issues too. And so what do you anticipate would be the time frame for this municipal service review request to be completed?
So like Mike said, we're going to be starting right away, and then we should have an internal draft for review by February, Mike, and then that will go out sometime in March for draft to the public, and then hopefully by April we would take it to the commission for your consideration.
Very good. Are there any other comments or questions from the commission? I'll ask the clerk, do we have any written comments submitted on this item?
None received.
I see that we have hands up. Anyone who wishes to speak on this item, please raise your hand or click the *9 item and I will call on you. Ray Kolish, would you like to have a comment on this item?
Sure. Good morning, Chair Bagley. I just want to say the 29 Palms Water District pledges to work with LAFCO and other community stakeholders on the proposed service review requested by the city. While we do not believe that much has changed since the last LAFCO service review of the city and the water district in 29 Palms, we have confidence in LAFCO and the LAFCO process. I also want to recognize and appreciate the waiver for the district to continue to use our legal counsel, which is Best Krieger. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kolish. Are there any other hands? Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? If not, I'll bring it back to the commission for a motion.
I move that we accept recommendation.
I'll second that.
Yeah. Any further discussion from the commission? If not, I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Baca,
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Aye.
Commissioner Curatolo,
Aye.
Commissioner Hagman,
Hagman, aye.
Commissioner McAllen,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The last item on our discussion item is the discussion of the conduct of future LAFCO meetings via the teleconference or in person. I ask the staff, please give a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me just wait for Paula to come back.
Yeah, so I'd ask Paula, and I'd also say thank you for all the people from 29 Palms who participated in this. We're glad to have you participate in the meeting.
I
All
am
right,
back.
she's back.
Thank you.
All right, so this next item is to discuss how the commission wishes to move forward with its meetings. The staff report outlines the new provisions of AB 361 and how it impacts the commission's current virtual meetings. As you may recall, following the governor's declaration of the state of emergency during the pandemic, he issued a number of executive orders that waived certain Brown Act provisions that allowed local agencies to meet virtually. And the commission has been meeting virtually since then. These executive orders have now expired as of September 30. And AB 361, again, authorizes some of the same flexibility with additional rules on how virtual meetings should be conducted. And however, this additional rules, as explained in the staff report, do not necessarily impact LAFCO since we have been adhering to this additional rules from the very beginning. Our goal back then was to make sure that we were being as transparent and as open as possible. Like today, we are now meeting under the new provisions of AB 361, and we did not make any changes on the manner we are conducting the meetings or how we notice the meetings from before. However, after this first meeting, the law now requires you to, every 30 days, make findings by a majority vote on the continued state of emergency, and that state or local officials continue to recommend social distancing. And the staff report outlines that these findings can be made as of today. The commission will then have to revisit these findings every 30 days and verify that these findings can still be made each time. So the question now is for you, the commission, to decide on whether you now want to go back in person, which you can. In fact, both IVDA and Sabia are now fully in person at our usual meeting place at the Northern Regional Event Center auditorium. Or you can continue to be virtual, which you again also can, as of today at least. And nothing really changes on how to conduct our virtual meetings, except that you now have to make the required findings every 30 days. So staff is requesting direction on how the commission wants to move forward with its upcoming meetings so that staff can prepare and plan accordingly. And Mr. Chair, the chair wanted the commission to weigh in on this matter, and that's why it is on our discussion today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sam. So this is really an important item for the commission as a whole to discuss what our preferences are in the future. So I'd like commissioners to please weigh in and let's have a discussion on this item.
Mr. Chair, McCallum?
Yes.
I'm very much in favor of in-person meetings. City of Highland has been meeting for the last 6 or 7 months in person. And also the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority is meeting in person. And believe it or not, our representative from Needles comes in for that meeting, and the cities up in the desert come down for the meetings. In our city, we also have public comment through email that's available to the public. They can come in person. If we have a public hearing, the emails are allowed to be submitted up until the time of the close of the public hearing, or they can be there in person. I think it's time for us to get back together and look at each other and just have a time where we can really see each other and conduct the business of LAFCO. So I'm very much in favor of an in-person meeting.
Mr. Chair.
I can, please go ahead, Kim.
I concur with Commissioner McCallum. Also, I'm concerned of the cost increases for us having to meet every 30 days. Right now, our typical calendar seems to be every other month. So we would be doubling the commission meetings that we would have to, meet just to continue this resolution on the 30-day basis. So, but I'm happy to go along with what the desires of the majority of the commission, but I certainly concur with Commissioner McCallum's input. Thank you.
Other commissioners?
Well, Mr. Chair, it's Jim Curtel. I agree with Larry on this also. I think in person is preferable to the remote. Thank you.
I'd like to hear from everyone who has input on this, please. There are no other commissioner comments. I have to tell you, I probably have the longest commute of anybody. It takes me an hour and a half to come into the meeting. It's public service for me, but it is the function of a public meeting to actually be in person and invite the public to participate. I don't know that we get that full effect with the Zoom meeting, and it's disappointing to me. So I'm looking forward to the day that we get ahead. We don't really know where we're going to be with COVID-19 after the holidays. There's a suggestion there could be a spike. I'm on my local hospital board. We've got cases in ICU again this week, and it's a complicated issue. But if it's the direction of the commission and the consensus of the commission that we meet in person, I'd like to direct staff that that's what we should do for our next meeting.
I'll move that direction, Mr. Chair, that we meet in person.
I'll second that. And may I ask a question of staff, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Would we be able to allow the public to participate both in person and remote? Do we have the technology at the conference center we meet in to do that? Because there may be some members of the public who still prefer to isolate.
At this time, there is the only way they can participate is to provide a comment through our website or our emails, and we would like we used to. We can just provide that verbally at the hearing. The Norton Regional Center is not set up with a phone on the side, and we don't anticipate having the Zoom meetings up running concurrently with the in-person meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I have one comment.
Yes, please, Aquanetta.
If we're going to return to normal, we need to return to where we were. That's what we've done here at our city, because That's what returning normal means. And people that are still concerned about isolation, they can do as they did before, send in emails or letters. But I will support returning to normal.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the commission? I do want to ask the clerk, are there any written comments submitted on this item?
None received.
I'll now ask the public on Zoom if they wish to speak on this item. Please raise your hand. For those of you who are on Zoom via the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Do we have any requests from the public to speak? If not, I will ask the commission, the clerk to call the roll, but I would like to make this recommendation also that, Sam, we bring this back on the calendar also at our next meeting so we can just have a discussion again going forward and get a consensus of the board. We'll see where we are. And Angela, would you please call the roll? We have a motion and a second.
Yes. Commissioner Baca.
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Aye.
Commissioner Curatolo.
Aye.
Commissioner Hagman.
Hagman, aye.
Commissioner McAllen.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, that concludes our discussion items. We're now going to move on to the information items. And Sam, you have a legislative update for us?
Yeah, I do have a staff report. Provides just a summary of some of the bills that this LAFCO and Cal-LAFCO were tracking this past legislative year. The staff report also notes that the Commission's pilot program bill, SB 13, did get signed by the governor, and it's now, so we now have the extension for our pilot program. I also attached the next year's legislative calendar in case anyone's interested. And unless there are any specific questions, that is my legislative oral report. Thank you.
Any of the commissioners have comments or questions on the legislative report? If not, I'll move on to item number 14 under information items, the executive officer's report.
I just want to remind the commission that we will be dark in December, and that our next meeting, the year went fast. Next meeting will be January 19th, 2022, in person at the Northern Regional Event Center. The staff report includes next year's calendar, which includes your scheduled meetings for the year. And last but not least, I want to inform the commission that our very own Commissioner Warren, she touched on it earlier, was selected by the Cal-LAFCO Board of Directors to be one of its officers. And so this means she will be in the officer rotation. And if she stays for another 4 years, she will be the chair of the Cal-LAFCO board by then. So congratulations, Commissioner Warren. And on that note, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any discussion from the commission on the information items? Aquanata, congratulations. We really appreciate you stepping up and representing our commission. So thank you very much. We'll move on now to item 15, commissioner comments. Any members of the commission wish to make comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Kurt Hagman. As I know we're all doing this, but with the passage of the infrastructure bill in Congress about a week ago, just realized the timeline 6 to 8 months from now, there'll be a tremendous opportunity for our agency and our individual sub-agencies to apply for just a numerous amount of infrastructure grants throughout our different spheres, including lots of infrastructure projects. So anything we could do at LAFCO to encourage our member agencies that may be on the edge of being successful, on the edge of maybe completing projects, incorporated of unincorporated areas, entering sewer district stuff. Now's the time for us to put all those plans together. So when the grants do come out, that we're more shovel ready to do that. So I just encourage all those that anything in our power that if we want to advance resources and staff time to work on some of those things, now's the time to do it.
Thank you, Commissioner Hagman. Anybody else have any other commissioners have a comment under item 15? Well, I'd also like to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. The Christmas holidays, Hanukkah's coming up, so we won't meet again until afterwards, but blessings to everyone, and I hope you and your families stay safe. Item number 16 are items from comment from the public, subject matter not on the jurisdiction of LAFCO that are not on the agenda. I ask the clerk, do we have any requests to speak or written comments?
None received.
All right, thank you very much. If there's no other business to come before the commission, we will stand adjourned.
Thanks, Jim. Good job.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great
Happy
Thanksgiving.
holidays.
Happy
Take care.
holidays.
Happy holidays. Be safe.
Thank you, everyone online, for participating.
See you all in
Happy
January.
holidays.
In person in January.